where?
Zero.
0, 0. And we're going to look at quadratics that have been moved around, and we're going to see how that affects the vertex. Really long inside and outside of a if there's a plus sign, if you're subtracting inside moves right. These two are like opposite of what your brain tells you. It's the outside. If you outside, that moves up and down. So you previously learned about standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. That is one way to write a quadratic equation. That's one way to get the graph. Another way is what we call vertex form, which is like this, where h and k are just some number. So it looks a little bit different. It looks quite different actually, because you have like x plus some number squared plus some number. This is called vertex form. And it's called vertex form because you can pinpoint the vertex with no formula. You can just look at it and know. So we're going to use the transformation rules to figure out where the vertex is going to be. So if I look down here at number 1, now the number, I messed up in the notes, there should be an A in front. That A, if it's positive, your parabola is concave up. If it's negative, your parabola is concave down. It's the exact same rule as with standard form. That does not affect your vertex in any way. So if I look at number 1, what is happening on the inside? Am I adding or subtracting? Are you adding or subtracting on the inside?
Right.
Subtracting. So it's going right 6. Are you adding or subtracting on the outside? Adding. So it's going to go up 2. So if we have a parabola and it starts out on 0, 0, if I go right 6, up 2, if I shift it, it's going to end up right there. So what is that vertex? 6, 2. The vertex is 6, 2. Symmetry. Does anybody know what the axis of symmetry would be?
0. No, on that one?
On this problem, number 1. X equals 6. You got to put x equals, and then it's always the x value of your vertex. Yep. So when you are given an equation in vertex form, it's in this format, not the first one. You don't have to use a formula. You just look at the numbers. Basically, you're thinking, okay, the inside is opposite. So if it's a minus 6, that's really going to turn into a plus 6 because I'm going right. A plus 2 stays. Those aren't opposites. So the inside numbers are opposites. The outside's not. The 4 in the front does not have an effect on the vertex. It only affects how fat or skinny the parabola is. Okay. So number 2, am I moving left or right? Left, and then up or down? Up. So I'm going left, up. So what is my vertex going to be?
-2, right?
-2.
Well, if it's going left, then they're both still negative.
It's going left 2, but it's going
Oh, so it's different.
up. So it's going to be positive 8. Only the inside is opposite. It has become a -2. Negative. And then the axis of symmetry is what? X equals -2. Do number 3. Alright, so we are filling in for number 4. Now I'm going to put f of x equals, but if you don't, it's not wrong. So you could have any number for your a. It could be positive or negative. That's not going to affect where the vertex is. It does affect how fat, skinny, if it's pointing up or pointing down, but all I care about is that you have one that'll give me the right vertex. So let's just say I put 4. You could have put any number. You don't have to change it, it's fine. What I care about is, first of all, what do you have in the parentheses? X minus 2. Perfect. Because remember, what you have in the parentheses here is opposite of the x value of your vertex. And you have to put a squared. That's just part of it. If there's no squared, it's not a quadratic. Okay. And then what are you going to have on the outside?
Plus 5.
Plus 5. The outside is not opposite. So the inside is opposite of your x. The outside is not opposite of your y. So I'll do number 5 with you. So f of x equals, sometimes you will see it as y equals. Alright, my front number can be -7. Alright. In the parentheses, my x value is a -4, so this is going to be x plus 4. Make sure you have x plus 4, don't just put 4. Squared. And then your y value is -1, so I'm going to put -1. So 7, 8, and 9, you're going to have to figure out what the vertex is by looking at the graph. So you have to know how to get a point from a graph. But also you have to take into consideration where if it's pointing up or pointing down. That is going to affect your a value. So if I give you a graph, I'm going to be more specific in what I'm looking for. Now I purposely made these so that your a value is either +1 or -1. However, if you just had something like this on the test, you probably wouldn't know that. So really, if you use, as long as it's supposed to be positive, if you had an a value that was positive, I would count that right. If it's supposed to be negative, as long as you had an a value that's negative, I would count that right. So I'm looking at, and is it the correct positive in the front? So let's look at number 7. This is my vertex. What point is that?
2.
Well, it's got to have an x and a y.
No, it's 2y. No. It goes 2 because it's on the x.
2, 1. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Same thing.
Yep. That's your vertex. Is my a positive or negative?
Positive.
Why?
Because it's on the right.
It's positive because it's pointing up. It's concave up like a cup. So now I'm going to come up with an equation where my A value is positive, and just because I'm telling you now, I made all of the A's either 1 or -1. So your A is a positive 1. So f of x equals 1. And then in parentheses, what are you going to have?
X,
X what? -2 squared, and then +1. Yep. If it's just a positive 1 in the very front, you can put that, or you don't have to put that. Kind of like 1x is x. Like, that's obvious if you know that. So I would have accepted this, or just what is my vertex on number 8, Dwayne?
Which one goes first in the Y?
X goes first.
So it'd be -3, 4, right?
-3, 4 is correct. Is my A going to be positive or negative, Victoria? Negative, because it's concave down like a frown. Sorry, can't see that. Okay. And so then my function, or my equation, f of x equals, I have a -1 in the front. What's going to go in parentheses, Callie? X plus 3 squared. And then what goes after that, JC? Plus 4. Perfect. I want you to do number 9. All right, Katie, what equation did you get? Okay.
X plus 1 to the second power minus 4.
That is perfect. X plus 1 squared minus 4. And then last thing, 10 and 11, I'm giving you an equation and I'm asking you to graph it. Your calculator is basically going to do this for you, but I do want to see a t-table when you graph these. And then I want you to find the vertex. And the vertex is kind of your middle point. On either side of your vertex, it's kind of the same. So you want to start with the vertex, and we're going to put that in the middle. And then we're going to do a couple points above and a couple points below that. So what would the vertex of number 10 be? Anybody?
4, 4. Or 4, -4.
-4, 4.
Bro, really?
Opposite. 4, 4. Okay. So that's your vertex. And we're not just going to go in and blindly just sketch out a graph. We're going to get some points. So go to your calculator and click on y equals. And you might have to clear out any equations that are written in there. And I'm going to type in that equation, starting with the -2. What we're doing, we're not going to look at the graph. We want to find the table. So do you see over here in blue it says table? So we're going to hit second graph, and that's going to pull up the table. Now this table scrolls up and down forever. So where mine started at 0, Yours might not start there. But you just scroll up or down. Did anybody's... Oh, hold on. Mine is... I need to fix mine anyway. Okay. Does anybody's x value, like, really big?
Our number's supposed to be the same.
-6.
Okay, -6 is fine. You're going to scroll up or down. If sometimes people can change it and they make it like 500, and that would be a long time to scroll. But you're going to scroll down to where you have the x value of 4. You should see 4, 4. You can scroll up or down. If you don't see 4, 4, that means either this was wrong, your vertex, or you typed it in wrong.
Yeah.
But you should see 4, 4.
I'll go back.
Just click on the y equals.
I think I did it wrong.
Anybody not able to scroll up or down and see 4, 4? Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the couple of points above it. So the 3, 2, 2, -4, and then the 5, 2, 6, -4. And then I'm going to plot as many of those points that I can. Alright, so 2, -4, 3, 2, 5, 2. The 6, -4 goes off the graph. So that's what the graph looks like. If you don't figure out what the vertex is to start out with, you don't really have kind of a starting point. You don't know where to look on your table.
Oh, right, I get 4, 4.
So 4, 4, that's your vertex. So I went and I wrote on my table, over here.